yesterday. But, man, that was after the Desmond Bane to Orlando trade got people talking on Saturday. Particularly the amount of picks that were involved in this trade. And I was certain I read this wrong or didn't understand it, and I'm still confident, like, I just don't understand what happened. It was exactly what was reported on, too. They said KCP. Mm-hmm. They said Cole Anthony. They said they're willing to move picks to acquire someone. That someone, apparently, is Desmond Bane, as it's Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 unprotected first-round picks and a pick swap. They really like Desmond Bane. I guess that's all this boils down to, is they really like Desmond Bane, and they think that's their guy moving forward.
And
at a position they needed in their, I guess, defense. I don't know, but shooting, that was a position they needed. Yeah.
And I was talking to the homie Brandon about this earlier in the day, and he was just like, "Yo, was that an overpay for Desmond Bane?" I told this to the insiders as well. It's like, I mean, that's all relative, right? Like, if you're the Magic and you believe that you're a Desmond Bane away from being a Eastern Conference championship contender, a borderline NBA Finals championship contender, there's almost no such thing as an overpay
in that conference.
Yeah,
in that conference,
there's almost now, whether you're right or not, that's to be determined. But if they believe, like, yo, if we get Desmond Bane, he fits what we're doing. It's off the top of my head, he's a great fit with Jamal Mosley. You know, his toughness and the way he plays. Put it with Jalen Suggs, that's a tough backcourt to deal with. If they feel like they're him away, yeah, man, give up them 4 picks.
You know, I couldn't help, once I rummaged through this, you know what I couldn't help but think might have been their motivation? The Pacers. Thinking the Pacers went all in. Picks, money, everything on Pascal Siakam and the pairing of Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. You're watching what they're doing in the finals. I mean, this was an Eastern, no matter what we think of it, they were an Eastern Conference Finals team last year. So this is a team now that has put together 2 highly successful NBA seasons, regardless of what happens over the next week or so, or a couple days. But Orlando might be looking at this like, Milwaukee's fading. The end is near for them. We don't know where Boston's going. New York might murder each other at some point over the next 6 weeks to 6 months. Yeah. And we have pillars here. We need another one. And they clearly see Desmond Bane as a significantly higher acquisition than someone, with all due respect, the likes of Malik Monk, right? They see Desmond Bane as someone who fits what they're doing and could be that pillar to put along with Paolo Banchero, along with some really good pieces like Franz and Jalen, all that, to where it's like, no, now we've got a top-to-bottom basketball team. What have we been talking about Indiana all series long? That can compete with OKC, their depth. Their depth. Now, if Orlando's looking at it like, yo, we built out a team where we could go truly 9 to 10 deep any night, yeah, we're going to, all right, give up the picks. Let's do it now. Yeah. And they did it. And I ain't even mad at them for it.
I'm not mad at them either, man. I think they definitely got better with getting Desmond Bane. They had done a good job of collecting assets over the last few seasons, even dating back to before they were able to draft Paolo Banchero. So you have been building really for a moment like this, where you feel like you're close and you want to make a big time move to go get somebody that you think can put you over the top. So to a certain degree, this is what you build up all those assets for. This is what you tank or get in a position where you're drafting Jalen Suggs and drafting Cole Anthony and drafting Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. So you get to the point where you can move off the picks and maybe one or two of those players to get somebody that you really, really want. I'm definitely okay with it. This was the cash in point, in my opinion.
I feel like this is exactly what they needed to. Like against Boston, they played great defense and had Boston out of sorts, but they couldn't hit a three to save their life. Anyone on that team. So you definitely needed someone like Desmond Bane.
That series was definitely a kind of they're not quite there yet.
Yeah, and like it was clear though what they needed, because it's like you needed 3-point shooting. It's not even, I don't even know if you necessarily needed Desmond Bane. You just need someone who can knock down a three. So I feel like Bane is just kind of, you elevated yourself a little bit more. You're expecting steps from Paolo and Franz too.
Well, it's a good move, man. It's a good move. Now, what I don't believe, and maybe this isn't how it works, but what I don't believe is this trade has now set the market for what trades are going to look like.
Okay. Another big talking point.
Yeah. Maybe this isn't realistic, but I'm a believer, just like we did with Rudy Gobert.
I was going to say,
just because they wanted to trade that doesn't mean that this is the market for player X. Let's have a real dialogue and like really try to fill a fair deal here.
Minnesota, right or wrong, that was a team that saw Rudy Gobert as the difference between them becoming a championship contender and not. You can feel however you want to now. You can feel however you want to then. Minnesota believed that. That's why they made the deal that they did. I don't know if Orlando believes it to that extent, but I absolutely think this takes them to a completely different level in the Eastern Conference. And I got to believe those feelings are along the lines of what Minnesota felt when it came time to acquiring Rudy Gobert. He was a difference maker for that particular basketball team, just like Desmond Bane is that particular difference maker for the Orlando Magic. And that was the price they were willing to pay. Right. For a player, I don't think we knew was going to be moved.
No.
He wasn't a name we had talked about.
I talked about it for weeks after talking to our guy Anthony, saying like, I don't think Memphis is going to move any of these three guys. All of a sudden,
well, it sounds like you're right about two of them.
Yeah.
Because that's the number one thing that came out of this was like, oh, are they making money for Jaren Jackson Jr.? It was almost immediately a report. Yeah, the Grizzlies, as you said, as you had weeks ago, they are not moving Ja Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr.
No, man. But I thought Desmond Bane would be a part of that. But from their perspective, you can get 4 first-round picks and a pick swap for a guy like Desmond Bane, where he's a heck of a ball player and he does a lot of really good things for them. But you can go find another 2 guard in that situation with already having Ja and Jaren Jackson. Maybe you think G.G. Jackson can come back and do a lot of the offensive things that Desmond Bane was able to do, or Jalen Wells or something like that. Like, you have guys that you might think are ready to replace at least some of that production, combined with a full season of Ja Morant. Like, yeah, we can do that and bolster our asset cupboard by getting 4 first-round picks. Absolutely. Almost a no-brainer. And from the Memphis point of view.
Yeah. Really, I feel like from both point of views, like I feel like this works for everybody. Like, it accomplished what Orlando was hell-bent on accomplishing. They didn't want to get younger. They already have a team of guys that are starting to kind of hit that moment of development. Obviously, Paolo's there, but you have guys who it's like, all right, now, okay, we've got some solid ball players. I don't know that. I think they have the 16 pick that they moved off of this year. I don't know that acquiring another young guy is what they needed. They chose to package that, go get an established guy who could play both sides of the ball really well, and they believe in this move. Yeah. Clearly, they believe that the number of picks show they clearly believe in this move. So I like this for Orlando. I'm anxious to see what it means for Memphis and what the rest of their offseason looks like. Even if, the other two remain untouchable, I'm anxious to see what the rest of this season looks like. That was a offseason, that was a Memphis team that kind of left you. I mean, that was a pretty was a pretty steep fall at the end of the season. Like, this was a 2 seed. You know, it was a fluctuating 2 seed, but facts are facts. Like, this was a 2 seed that fell off at the end of the year.
Right. So I'm with you. I'm all for it. And in Orlando, like you brought up a good point. Not that you can always use youth or draft picks or do whatever, but I mean, you look at that roster. You got Jalen Suggs, you got Anthony Black, you've got Jet Howard. Paolo is the age he is. Franz Wagner is the way he like you. To your point, what do I really need to go get another 21-year-old young player and try and develop them? Hell, even for the next 2 years, that's probably how they're feeling. You know what I mean? Like I got guys that have been young. They've worked through the growing pains of being young. Now they're on the precipice of being young vets going into their prime. Let's go get one of these guys who match up with, people talk about timeline, but match up with the timeline here with what we're trying to do.
That's what I was about to ask you. Timeline's not the same thing as what I was going to ask, but do they have a window now? Have they opened up a window? I mean,
My
again,
first thought is no, the window's not open. When I think of window, I think of like they have a chance to win a championship. I don't think next year they have a chance to win a championship.
Okay, quick follow-up. Did you think Indiana did?
No, I mean, I didn't think they were
Do
good
you
enough,
think they
number
do
one.
now?
No, I didn't think they were good enough yet, but for sure, like even looking back, hindsight, last year wasn't the year. Like their window hadn't opened to win a championship.
Yeah, I got you.
This year
Yeah.
would be the year. So follow me here. This year for Orlando
Okay.
would be Indiana's last year.
I got you. No, I got you. That makes
Yeah.
complete sense.
Yeah, I think I'm with KC because it's like I think it puts them in the mix, but I don't know if they're coming out the East. But if you give them some time or whatever, I could see it happening next year too. Where it's like, all right, this team's in the finals because the East is going to be really weak next year. That's why I wouldn't even be shocked if they did make it out, but
Yeah.
I don't think you can put them ahead of the Cavs yet or those other teams.
We're just like there's so much that has to be done. So this will be obsolete probably in 3 weeks. But right now, this puts them in the top 4 in the East.
I'd say so,
Indiana,
yeah.
Cleveland, New York, Orlando.
So we got Boston's not a top 4 team
Not
next
next
year.
year. Not next year.
They got too many moves where it's like I don't
I'm
even know what
calling
kind of team
cap
they're
on
going to be at.
I'm calling cap on that. Boston's not a top 4 team next year.
I don't know. My bold prediction for this offseason is that Jalen Brown's will rock it.
Well, that's
that's
bold.
That could happen. But let's say Jalen's still here. That's no Tatum. You probably moved off of Drew Holiday and Porzingis.
Oh, I forgot about that. Well,
Horford's
Porzingis
another
doesn't
year.
matter. with all
Horford's
due
another year
respect.
older.
The 4th seed in the conference this year was the Pacers at 50-32. So Boston's worse than that.
Well, okay. Look at it this way, though.
Okay.
Is Boston, just from what we see today,
Mm-hmm.
is Boston next year better than Orlando? I don't think so.
Like,
No Tatum.
I'd say no, honestly. Right now, it's a team led by Jalen Brown.
you kind of said it a second ago. There's so much to happen over the course of the next month or next few weeks. Like, if I took this Celtics team, like, yeah, I think this Celtics team is better than Orlando. This one, but it's not. You're right. It's not going to be this basketball team. Who else did we rule out? Did you rule out Cleveland?
They're in there. I got
you
Cleveland,
got Cleveland,
Indiana,
Cleveland. This is
New York, and I got Orlando as the other, the 4 team. Not 4C, but the top 4 teams.
I'll go along with that.
Milwaukee, if I were just saying Giannis stays, but no Dame, all that other stuff, I don't think they're better than Orlando.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have no idea what Milwaukee's season's going to look like. Detroit's right there at 44-38 last year.
I still think
is
Orlando's
there
better.
something? Yeah, I think they are too. But they weren't this year. Orlando had a really weird season.
Yeah.
A absolutely bizarre season.